What was supposed to be a pretty fun show that I had lined up today. I don't know how fun it's going to be today. The breaking news literally not even like 20, 30 minutes ago. Johnny Gaudreau, Columbus Blue Jackets star star player, Philadelphia native, tragically killed last night in a bike accident. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about life. We're going to try to have some fun. I don't know what's going to go on. This kind of news always hits me a little different. Train the AM live in 60 seconds. And a very somber morning good morning to everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Please like, share, subscribe, and send everybody a link to come on in and join the show as we get set to wrap up a week and we get to wrap up August here with with pretty somber breaking sports news. That was rumored last night, late at night. I did not see it, but confirmed by the NHL and confirmed by Gary Bettman and confirmed by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Johnny Gaudreau, otherwise known as Johnny Hockey, Philadelphia native. He and his brother Matthew last night were tragically killed in a bike accident, hit by a car while they were riding their bikes in Salem, New Jersey. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I don't know how the day will go. I don't know how the conversation will go. When news like that breaks, when news like that happens, even if I don't know the person personally, it really does upset me. I had a fun-filled show talking football today. Planned baseball, planned. If you want to talk baseball, if you want to talk Eagles, Phillies, whatever, I'll gladly do it. But if you also would like to talk about just life in general and the shortness of life, we can do that as well, guys. This is an open forum today, to talk football, to talk baseball, but to talk life. So, unfortunately, like I said, it was confirmed by a lot of different outlets, not even but 10 minutes ago or so, that according to New Jersey State Police, Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew were killed while biking Thursday night in Oldsman Township, New Jersey, close to their hometown of Salem County. Gaudreau was 31. His brother was 29. The big free agent signing of the Columbus Blue Jackets a few years ago, the Flyers did try to get him. Happened last night around 8 o'clock. A car trying to pass bicycles on the road struck them and killed them. Still lots to be unfolded from that story. But it really hits. It really hits. Because of the fact that it's an unfortunate, tragic passing of two people. You read about it. Their sister's wedding is today, and their groomsmen in the wedding, and they were just all together as a family for this wedding and whatnot. It also brings into conversation the people. There was some nitwit on Twitter and social media trying to break this news before the family even was notified of what happened, and just brings into conversation. Every reporter out there is just trying to break a story instead of trying to think about family sometimes in these tragic moments. It's just, when you keep reading about it, it brings a lot of emotions to the table. So I'm not a huge hockey fan. I don't watch hockey every single day. I love my Flyers. So I don't know a whole lot about Johnny Gaudreau, the hockey player, other than that he's a very good player. Um, but man, it's tough. It's a gut punch when you read it. It's a gut punch when you wake up and you see that, before it was confirmed, everybody was, going off of some crazy report that was put out there, um, from some random guy, and then it turns out to be true. It's even harsher and stuff like that. What's up, man? Chatter. Good morning to you today. Hope you are well. Whatever you want to talk about today, say something funny. Say something, anything. Just say something to make me laugh, to make me in a better mood. Um, not the show I was planning today. Not the energy level I was planning today. But here we are. That is what we're at. What's up, Mister? Hope you are well this morning. Good morning, little G. I hope you have a fantastic day and a fantastic weekend. Um, yeah. So anyway, whatever people want to discuss, whatever people want to say, this is a place to do it. I'm going to try to, power through and whatnot as best as I can. But I'm going to try to do some extra sharing here as I try to get set here. Um, um, as best as I can. Sorry, give me a second here, guys. Oh man, I can't even get that up right there. Oh man. Oh guys, it's tough. So these kind of things are not normally my specialty to cover, my specialty to discuss. But we do what we can to get through. We could talk a little bit of football. We could talk a little bit of Eagles. There were news yesterday, some changes to the team that were made yesterday. I do have my NFL record predictions finished and completed for today. Phillies with a great win last night in South Philly, beating the Braves 5-4 in a playoff atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park. They were some of the more serious or more fun topics that I wanted to discuss today. Taijuan Walker going to the bullpen officially um, is official. James Bradberry um, was put on IR for about the next 8 weeks as he came down with a leg injury. Oren Burks, linebacker, was promoted to the 53-man roster yesterday. Brett Toth, no surprise, was signed to the practice squad yesterday for the Eagles. The Eagles cut Marlon Tupelodu yesterday and signed Byron Young, former Raiders third-round pick, 70th overall last year. Surprisingly, was cut after just one season in Las Vegas. Former Alabama um, standout, went, like I said, 70th overall in the 2023 draft, 6'3", 297. Typical Howie, any opportunity to give a guy a second chance, a highly touted player, a second chance. Tupelodu, a nice player, but he is what he is. Taking this chance on Byron Young was a good move. Maybe Tupelodu ends up back on our practice squad. Maybe not. We will see. I just, you know, find it hard to talk sports or to talk predictions or to make jokes and have fun when a 30-year-old man, a 29-year-old man, um, tragically has passed away. I mean, it happens all the time in life. I get that. And, with the bikers, um, you know, when I drive to work from where I live here out in the Coatesville area to Kennett Square, I take a lot of back roads. I take a lot of roads that end up windy roads with a lot of bikers on it. I'm constantly passing bikers, but I also see a lot of people not doing it safely, and it drives me nuts all the time. It does. Yeah, I know they frustrate you. They go slower, whatever you want to get around them, but be careful. Um, someone's father, brother, husband. It's got two young kids that now are not going to have their father to grow up with, and it's just heartbreaking to me. It is. Good morning, Rick. I hope you are well today. Well, thank you very much for the shout out. I greatly appreciate it. I try. This is not going to be my most entertaining show today. I won't lie. I'm going to find it very hard to go the full 90 minutes today. I'm not going to lie. Um, Strategy, I don't talk about my mental makeup very often, but it doesn't take much to shake me. It doesn't take much to, whatever. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to power through. I'm going to do my best to talk about James Bradberry going on injured reserves. Um, what does that mean? I'm going to do my best to talk about Byron Young, defensive tackle, and Howie Roseman constantly trying to make this team, even if it's just incrementally better every single day. Um, so Johnny Gurdeau and his brother Matthew Gurdeau were out on a bike ride last night about 8 p.m. in their hometown, um, and a passing car tried to pass them, but struck them both and killed them both. Obviously, it seems like it was an accident. Initial reports, I was just reading the news report on Yahoo News right before we went live. The driver of the vehicle wasn't arrested or anything like that, so, it doesn't seem like it was like a drunk driving accident or an aggressive accident. But Johnny Gurdeau, 31, his brother Matthew, 29, were. And what really, it's sad, it is. But then you read the details of the story a little bit more. They were in town together, the whole family's together. Their sister's wedding is tonight, um, and, they're the groomsmen in the wedding. Johnny's wife is the maid of honor in the wedding. Um, I can't imagine what the family's going through and what, you know, what that, on the way it's just crazy. And yeah, I think that's the perfect word for it, man, Chatter. Awful, awful, awful. Um, yeah. So I mean, I have things prepared to talk about Phillies wise. I put a whole page of notes together for today's show to try to have fun. You hear all the Eagles talking about Brazil and the do's and don'ts that they're being told to do and don't do in Brazil. I found out their travel schedule and what they were doing, um, and not doing. And I'm gonna try to bring up some of these topics today. I'm gonna try to discuss football and baseball as much as I can. Brandon Ayuk signing his contract finally with the 49ers. Um, yeah, Joey. Uh, yeah, it hits hard, whether it's from the area or not, whether whatever, any of these kind of tragedies, hit home. We put our athletes to I don't know, it's like this ungodly type level that, they're celebrities, they're untouchable. Um, but he was a great human being, and he was a father and a brother and a husband, and I look at it away from the sports aspect of it and just the human aspect of it too, and that hits me harder than the hockey, part of it. I mean, sh shout out to all Columbus Blue Jackets fans out there that losing a great person, a great part of their team. Um, but man, this isn't this the second tragedy? Didn't they have another player just a few years ago pass away as well in the summertime? I want to say like a fireworks accident or something like that. I could be totally wrong on that. So don't quote me. I'm just trying to, dig deep to the back parts of my brain. But man, something something sad happens, regularly. It seems like to Columbus Blue Jackets hockey players. My heart is just broken this morning. Today, even when I woke up today, and I don't want to sound like an awful person, but my heart was sad right from the moment I woke up because today I kind of totally forgot about it, but Facebook reminded me 4 years ago today, my first dog, my main dog, my best friend, my best man at my wedding, he tattooed on my arm. It's the 4 year anniversary of Decker passing away, and that just sunk my heart right from the get go. And I was going to dedicate this show to Decker. But then you see this news about Johnny Gurdeau, and I want to preface this by saying I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right. I believe it's Gurdeau. Johnny Hockey is always how I've known him as, um, but it is what it is. Um, Byron Young, former Alabama defensive tackle, was picked 70th last year by the Las Vegas Raiders. So the very beginning of the third round, they cut him after 1 year. I believe he only played in like 6 games last year. They really cut ties with a guy. So the Eagles did go and take a 6'3", 300-pound defensive tackle. But what does it say about the player that a team like the Raiders, who stink, are cutting ties with a top tier draft pick that quickly? Is something a bit concerning to me. Um, so while the thing is Marlon Tupelodu, we know who he was, we know what he was. He was a fringe player to begin with, um, a back end depth piece. So you know you move on from him and you take a chance with a Byron Young, who obviously might have some issues because being cut so quickly. But on the flip side, you know, the ceiling is much higher than what the ceiling would have been for Tupelodu this year or going forward. Um, so it's a low risk, high reward move, typical Howie fashion. Howie has been known to give play. He's the you get a second chance type GM. Not only does he do other things well, but he has no chances, no problem taking, low risk, high reward chances on players. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But that is just who Howie is. So yeah. Today's gonna be a tough one. It really is. 3 picks before Milton, same position. Yeah, I wonder if that has anything to do with Milton Williams not signing an extension yet. John, thanks, my man. Yeah, I mean, Decker passed away 4 years ago. It's a long time, but he was literally my best man at my wedding, my best friend, my first pet ever. I had him for 15 plus years. Um, and that already had me in a, teetering, to start the day. And then this Johnny Gordeau news hits, and then you read the story, the details of the story, and it just hits again and again and again. So it is what it is. I know I'm not doing anything special today that's going to rile up the fans or have a fun show today. I'm going to do the best I can to talk through it, to talk whatever. Um, it is just what it is. It's part of life, and it's a shame. The Niners really screw up the Ayuk deal. That should cheer us all up. Yeah, did they screw it up? I think Brandon Ayuk screwed the Brandon Ayuk deal up, because Brandon Ayuk literally took the deal that's been sitting on the table for the last month and a half, 2 months. He signed for 4 years, 120 million. I think I'm almost positive that was the exact deal that was on the table. Literally, I don't even know how long ago, but for a while. So, what was the point of holding in if you were just going to take the deal that was already on the table? Like, I don't get it. Something wrong in the San Francisco land, something wrong in the San Francisco water. Um, but yeah, Brandon Ayuk staying in San Francisco for the next 4 years. Um, Probably ideally the best spot for him anyway. Um, keeps Brock Purdy having both of his big weapons on the outside. Best for them. I don't know how you think they screwed it up. Sounds like a very missed a it does. Like, I don't know him personally. Um, and yeah, I think something has to be done. You see more and more every single year, bike accidents happening on the road. Now, it's not always the driver or the vehicle's fault. Sometimes the bikers are in the wrong. I get that. But something needs to be done, and I don't know what it is. Um, but needless tragedies like that. A lot of these things happen because of impatient people behind the wheel trying to pass the bikers, um, and things like this happen. Um, and also just remind you to hug your loved ones and call people and talk to people and don't push things off. It's the shortness and preciousness of life amplified today, um, with this situation, basically. Good morning, Eric. How you doing? Yeah, you didn't notice yesterday? It was cut yesterday. I cut it Wednesday afternoon, so this is the second show with the tight cut, man. You always feel good after a nice tight. I see your haircut in your picture there. Don't you always feel good after you clean up and all? I don't know what the Niners were asking in terms of draft picks, but they obviously didn't get it. And 30 million a year is more than AJ. Yeah, look, um, I think the 49ers didn't really want to trade Ayuk. That's basically what the case is. They didn't want to get rid of him. So that's what it is. They wanted Brandon Ayuk to stay there. Um, so the draft picks and whatnot. And look, is it crazy to say that maybe Brandon Ayuk's not as elite as people think he is? Maybe. I mean, he's a really good wide receiver. Don't get me wrong, but he might be a system wide receiver too. Everyone talks about the Shanahan system, and Brock Purdy's only good because of the Shanahan system. Is there a scenario where he's not elite in another city anyway? That if they traded for him, Pittsburgh say, you put him there and with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields or whoever, that he's not as good in that system? Maybe. American General don't value biking. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Maybe spend some more money on infrastructure. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. Bikers want to bike wherever they want to bike. You can't put bike lanes on every single road and side road in the country. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Ayuk is okay. Yeah, I don't know if he's as elite as some people think. I don't know if he's $120 million wide receiver. I hate to say it live. Yeah, nice cut. Um, bring the ego to the Doctor Doom state. Is that what it is? The Niners don't even throw that much to justify paying Ayuk and Debo. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money for Brandon Ayuk, and I mean, yeah, 120 million could be to a lot. Yeah, exactly. Just think about that. The money spent on football players this year on your team, whatever team's your team, and then something like that happens, and what kind of good it happened. Um, yeah, did this happen in Philly? So it happened in the suburbs of New Jersey, Salem County. My geography isn't perfect, but I know he is a Philly guy. Johnny Gordeau grew up in the Philly region, hence why the Phillies Flyers fans a couple years ago when he was a free agent was pounding the table to bring him home to play here for the Philadelphia Flyers. But yeah, it happened in Salem County last night around 8 p.m. And his sister's wedding is in Philadelphia tonight. Well, was scheduled to be in Philadelphia tonight. And I just cannot imagine what that family is going through, not just because of the loss, but just the emotions of this weekend that was about to happen. And then you dump this on top of it. It's heartbreaking. I feel like the most underappreciated person in the Niners offense is Kittle. Yeah, well then K1 says Trent Williams. I don't know. Man, I don't know. So I'm a huge Kittle guy. I really am. I think he's a fantastic tight end. I think he's underappreciated for sure. I think he's one of those guys that you know does it all. Not only can he catch, score, he blocks. He actually gets a kick out of blocking. I bet you if you put him at linebacker, he would get a kick out of tackling as well. So yeah, Trent Williams, yeah, he's still not signed, isn't he? No, you're saying he isn't signed yet. Yeah, Trent Williams is still not signed. Um, so for all the greatness that John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers is, that kind of stuff just, you know, reminds you how special Howie Roseman is because you never had these kind of holdouts and contract disputes in Philadelphia with the Eagles. Who the original opening monologue of my show was going to be in 7 days, the Philadelphia Eagles will be 1-0. 7 days from today, we will be 1-0, celebrating a victory in Brazil. But then the Johnny Gordeau news kind of made me not want to make jokes and not make me want to go over the top. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, look, the 49ers are a good team. I do have my NFL record predictions prepared for today. That was the bulk of today's show was going to be centered around my record predictions for every single team, which there they are. There is my records for every team. The Eagles, in the NFL. That was the original idea and plan for today. And yes, I do have the 49ers still winning their division. I still have the 49ers as the number one team in the NFC. I do not have the 49ers in the Super Bowl, though, again this year. This is what the show was going to be around, talking about all the teams in the NFL, all the teams and where I think they are. I mean, I've got not just this, but I've gone further and put where I think the playoff seedings will land for each team as well in the NFC and AFC. This was supposed to be what the show was about today. Um, and I'll leave this up here for a little bit. So, if anybody wants to critique my record predictions for any of the NFL teams, there they are on the screen. You're more than welcome to do that. Um, this was a big part of what today's show was supposed to be about. Um, I predict this. I did predict the Super Bowl on another page too, but that's so hard to do. I think outside of predicting where teams will land in the playoff standings, it's hard to predict who's going to win a Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl. For fun, I picked the Eagles versus the Texans in the Super Bowl. Whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. GM's got their work ahead. Bill's GM says they signed everyone with 93K remaining. Yeah. Phil, you put it. I always put in the work. I also had a busy ass day at the pizza shop yesterday too. What are our 6? Well, that is Monday's show. I will go game by game, K1, and I will break that down on Monday. That is not for today. I got a tease for Monday's show. That's how I get you hooked for Monday's show. What's up, Steve? I appreciate everything you do every morning. Did a draft last night and was able to snag Goddard as my tight end and Dotson on my bench. Goddard's great, except for the 4 or 5 weeks that he misses every single year. So you better have an option or keep your eye on the waiver wire for that inevitable moment. Dotson, I don't know. I don't know if Jahan Dotson's going to be a fantasy player this year. You just got to think about it. Just look at the stats that Quez Watkins or Lamedy Zacchaeus put up last year. You got to think A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley are going to take up 95% of the touches between those 4 names this season. John Dotson would be a great stash guy at the back end of your bench, maybe because of if A.J. Brown, God forbid, or Devontae Smith went down for a week or two, then Dotson will slide to the outside and be the one that takes over that lead role. But I don't see, when everybody's healthy, I don't see a scenario where Dotson will ever be a starter. Yeah, I've got it. I know which 6 games they're losing. I've got the schedule done. I haven't put my graphic together for the show for Monday yet. I'll do that this weekend. But yeah, I got the Eagles officially at 11-6 this year. The number 2 seed in the conference. Because if you notice, I got the Eagles, the Lions, and the 49ers all with 11 wins. And then the Packers, Rams, and Falcons all at 10 wins. So that's just the way I see it. I just didn't want to be destroyed by Cowboys fans. I did put the Cowboys at 9-8 in second place, and in the playoffs. I really wanted to flip flop the Commanders and the Cowboys, but I didn't feel like getting battered by Cowboys fans for 500 hours. The early bye, I think, is kind of almost important to an extent, actually, because the early bye with the trip to Brazil and all that exhaustion, and then I think that first 4 games, I won't tell you what I have their record at. It's not 4-0, it's not 0-4 or anything like that. Those first 4 games are a lot more difficult than people realize because of the trip to Brazil and all those NFC South teams right in a row like that. I think people are underrating how tough it is. And I think they'll win a majority of those games early, but I think they're going to be pretty exhausted pretty quick. And you see the Eagles have already started to get banged up with a bunch of guys. James Bradberry, most importantly, is now out for the next 6 to 8 weeks at least. So there's that. You have to wait till Monday. You got to wait till Monday. We don't want to have that kind of conversation today anyway, wins and losses and all. Like, I just don't know if I have the energy this morning. Like, my whole entire energy has been completely zapped this morning. So, I can come out here and try to pretend to be fake fun and happy and outgoing, but we're just gonna talk football. We're gonna talk baseball. The Phillies with a huge win last night. Talk about Brazil. Should the Eagles even be and Packers even be playing in Brazil? Honestly, I mean, I don't even know if the the NFL came out and said that they're planning on making this Brazil thing a regular thing. But yet these players are told they can't leave their hotel, can't walk with your phone in your hand down the streets. You know, they're basically flying out Wednesday. They're gonna get there super late on Wednesday night. It's like a 9.5-hour flight, direct, obviously, and they fly in luxury, but 9.5 hours on a plane, whether it's a luxurious plane or whatever, that's a long flight. They're gonna have a walkthrough on Thursday and then the game on Friday, and that's it. They're pretty much not gonna do any extracurricular activities while they're in Brazil. Um, Also because of just how densely populated and stuff like that, you can't even go out and about. I mean, I read that an hour drive to the city from the hotel will take two hours plus because of the traffic that's in Brazil. It just doesn't seem like it's necessary. Doesn't seem necessary that they do this. Um, as the payment for top players go up, lots more undrafted making teams. Yeah, I mean that's what Howie Roseman spoke about a lot the other day in his press conference about all the youthful players and young players that they kept on the team because they're so top heavy in contracts. And the Eagles have a lot. I know everybody brags about how great Howie Roseman is, but you think about it, Howie Roseman has given big money to AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Mailata. Landon Dickerson got a huge contract. Um, he's given out all these big contracts. So you got to go youthful and you got to go cheap in some spots. You got to find value in spots. Something like Byron Young, that's a youthful value play right there, picking him up yesterday. Um, yeah. So I think that definitely plays a factor in those things. Yeah, it's not an energy. I got a good night's sleep. I woke up fine, and then my phone has ruined my day today. Sometimes I should probably just not check my phone in the morning before I go live or do anything. I missed. I don't want to get into this. This is too deep for me this morning. Um, this is more of a let's get together on my front porch with some bourbon and some weed and have the conversation. I try to keep my personal beliefs very personal and very close to the vest. I will say this: I believe there's something, and I still say death. My favorite comment ever on death was said by Keanu Reeves when he said basically, you know, no, you guys have all heard what Keanu said. Google it. I don't want to misquote him. Bradberry being out, I think, will benefit us actually having to play the younger players. Actually, yeah, maybe. I don't think so. I think Bradberry being out's a big deal. Um, I know he's not a fully finished the transition to safety, but I mean, if something happened to Reed Blankenship or Chauncey Gardner Johnson, it wouldn't be a youthful guy taking over the spot. It'd probably be Avonte Maddox playing safety. So that not like they're going to go with a youthful guy in that scenario. So I think the Eagles really truly did like and appreciate and hope that Bradberry could finish this transition and be that depth piece at safety. I really truly believe that. I think that was their goal. I think that's what they wanted. Um, yeah, yeah. So it's also his leadership ability and stuff like that. I'm kind of shocked that when they put him on IR, that Oren Burks, the linebacker who was on the practice squad, was who was promoted to the 53-man roster because now you've got six interior. Well, it's just an extra linebacker. Maybe it's for special teams purposes, but Burks is not going to see the field on defense ever. I would have liked to have seen them use that extra roster spot on a lineman or another tight end. But Howie's maneuvering the roster. That's what Howie does. Howie is constantly finding ways to make the team better, but also use the rules set in place by the league to best set this team up for success. Now it's up to the team and the coaches to go out there on the field in 7 days from today when they face the Green Bay Packers and and get this season started on the right foot. That's what they've got to do. Real quick, guys. Oh, did I miss another comment there? Yeah. Special teams is going to be interesting this season. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Interesting. I still haven't made an official opinion, K1, on whether I like these new rules or not. And the rules are confusing too. Like I just thought it was, the new kickoff rules. When I was watching the Vikings preseason game and they were going over, if the ball goes a certain place, it comes out to the 20. If it goes to another place, it comes out to the 25 or the 30. Like this is more confusing than Donovan McNabb not knowing the overtime rules. Um, like the kickoff rules are just out there. And the fact that you can't do a surprise onside kick now because of these rules, just crazy. They should just do away with the onside kick and do what I said and put the ball on the 25-yard line and give the team kicking off a 4th and 15 or a 4th and 20 and say, complete this 4th down play, you keep the ball. If not, the other team gets it where the ball ends. And that's what they should probably do. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. I love all of you as well. It's not sacrifice. I don't sacrifice my time. I gladly give it to you guys. I do. And I'm sorry that my emotions, my energy is just down. Again, not only the Johnny Hockey news, but today, 4 years ago today, I put my first dog down, Decker, tattooed on my arm right here. He was my best man, my best friend, literally my best man at my wedding. So he was 15 and a half years old. Lived a great life. Every dog deserves to live the life of Decker, and that's why we take in all these other old soul dogs because of Decker. Because every dog deserves a Decker life. So today's a tough day for me, but we're here. We're doing it. Jordan Matthews getting cut had me upset. I thought they signed Jordan Matthews back. The Panthers. They put him on the practice squad, and then I think yesterday they elevated Jordan Matthews to the active 53-man roster already. That guy just keeps hanging around. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Real quick, no segues today. Just right into it. PhillySportsTrips.com. Oh, I went to the wrong one. SherryTickets.com. For family owned and operated since 1946, SherryTickets.com is the premier ticket place to get your tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater tickets. The price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. They have the guaranteed best prices on the market. And if you use promo code EOP10 at checkout, it gets you an additional 10% off on top of the already great prices. So why would you overpay with the rest? Why wouldn't you want to save with the best? SherryTickets.com. Again, promo code EOP10. That's right. That's right. He's my man. It is. And if you know where Decker comes from, what the name Decker actually means, that earned you. If the person that can guess where I got the name Decker from, either A, has heard me say it before, or B, can be my best friend forever, and ask any question you want of anything. But you got to know where Decker came from. Active again? Active? What? I don't get that one. Mister, you must have heard that before. You must have heard me say that before, Mister. Yes, Decker is from the A team. Decker is the Army guy that used to chase the A team around. Colonel Decker, played by the great character actor Lance Legault. He used to chase the A team around, trying to catch him because the A team were actually, bad guys that were wanted by the government for crimes committed in Vietnam. That's what the A team was. I think Mista Mista's been following me for a long time. He must have heard me talk about this before. So yeah, that must be what Mista. That's got to be why Mista knows that so quickly, because no one's ever answered that that quickly before. But yeah, I always wanted Colonel Decker to catch them eventually, but he never did. But yeah, that's where we got the name. Blade Runner. Brian, you're one of my closest people. You're my roommate. You should know where Decker came from. Yeah, Mista gets a free question, except for the afterlife question. Nothing serious. He can ask any sports question or personal question of me outside of that previous one. Yeah, Jordan Matthews is back on the active roster for the Carolina Panthers. Um, I'm excited the Eagles play the Panthers this year. Gives me a reason to have Mike K on the show that week to prep for it because Mike K is one of my original Eagles beat reporters that used to do a lot of work with, and I know he will be on Carolina Panthers week to give us a inside enemy territory kind of insider information. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Jordan Matthews was playing football when I was in high school, which was in the '90s. I can't believe he's only like 33 years old and and still out there trotting on a daily basis. Hey, I give him credit. He can't play wide receiver anymore, so he's going to tight end. He's doing whatever he can to get on the field, continue earning that paycheck, continue to play the game he loves. So I give him lots of credit for that, big time. Man, I have so much A-team knowledge that's useless. Yeah, I literally, grew up on that show, the greatest show of all I sarcastically say, it ain't The Wire, it ain't The Sopranos, it ain't Breaking Bad, it's the A-Team. That's the greatest show of all time. Um, it's definitely the cheesiest show of all time. I could do a whole entire hour and a half episode just talking about the A-Team and comparing it to the movie The A-Team. Um, my brother and I wanted nothing more in life to have an A-Team movie with the original cast, obviously. And we waited. My brother and I have been to one movie in our life together, probably, and it was the A-Team movie on opening night. We were the only people. Like, I'm surprised we didn't get dressed up in cosplay to go to that. We waited for that movie for so many decades, and it was such a letdown. Just to the super fan. I mean, it was a good action flick, but it was such a letdown to a super freak. I mean, I have 18 T-shirts. I got everything 18. Love it, love it, love it. Nothing better than that group there. But yeah, that's where we got. We were gonna have a whole. We were gonna name all our dogs after the A-Team. We were gonna have a Murdoch was gonna be next. Um, but then we started adopting dogs, so we let them keep their names. Um, the new Star Wars stink too. What? Oh, yeah, I'm not a Star Wars guy. I can't tell you I have seen straight through anything that's come out Star Wars related since, and I don't know. I like the original 3 from the '70s. Like, not love. I respect their cultural importance. But the newer ones, the Rise of Skywalker, the Han Solo story, all that stuff does nothing for me, at all. I used to want a B.A. Baracus haircut. Yeah, a lot of gold chains too. Um, I'll pity the fool. Bosco, my man. Never saw a single episode of the A-Team. Don't at me. I love when people say that. That actually brings a smile to my face. When people go out on social media and say something crazy and say, "But don't at me." You're just asking for people to at you by saying that. And K1, now you got homework to do this weekend. Go watch the cheesiest show of all time. The only show where 5,000 bullets are shot every single episode and not one single bullet hits anybody. You know? If I was a bad guy, I would walk dead into the line of fire because for 4 special forces guys in the military, they were the worst shot in the world. I could shoot a gun better than those guys could. I don't know why they'd want to waste all that ammo to purposely miss anybody. I don't know. But don't miss phillysportstrips.com, the premier travel site and company. If you want to travel to see any of your Philadelphia sports fan teams as a fan on the road, go to phillysportstrips.com. Sign up. Mention EOP when you sign up. Trending in the AM when you sign up. Obviously, it's too late to book the trip to Brazil. Actually, the trip to Brazil leaves today, and they did sell it out. We're trying to get Vince, owner of phillysportstrips.com, on after the Eagles game to talk about the trip and talk about the experience in Brazil, but they have a lot of other great trips and tailgates and things like that to see the Eagles, Phillies, Union, you name it, they do it. Like the one to Tampa Bay here in September, October, up to MetLife Stadium to see Saquon return to New York, plus trip to Baltimore in December, and of course, F Dallas week, November 10th in Dallas, Eagles Dallas. Which will be a win on my. I'll give you one little tidbit for my schedule prediction. I have the Eagles winning November 10th in Dallas. I do. But guys, check them out. phillysportstrips.com. Don't miss this. Don't miss the trip. Trips of a lifetime to an extent. Go to their website, sign up, and find a trip that meets what you want to do. The A-Team and the first Predator movie is literally the only reason I joined the Army. This is a great country, but I'm a bigger A-Team patriot. Yeah. I hope you are a better shot than the A-Team. Yes, Adam. Good morning to you, my man. We haven't really talked much Phillies yet. Obviously, a little somber mood with the Johnny Gaudreau news, Adam. I'm trying to still process the Johnny Gaudreau news in my mind. But yeah, the Phillies had a big win last night. It was really good that they did not let the dreadfulness of Wednesday's game with Taijuan Walker get them down. Nick Castellanos with a huge home run to put us ahead, and Christopher Sanchez did just enough. The bullpen did their job last night. Obviously, again with Kirkering coming in, being lights out. Matt Strahm and Jeff Hoffman, all just what's that? 3 1/3 innings, no hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts from the Phillies bullpen last night. Pretty damn fantastic, if I must say so. And during the Phillies game last night, I did tweet out, is Orion Kirkering a future closer on this Phillies team? Hoffman's a free agent. Estevez is a free agent. You're not going to be able to pay all these big guys big contracts to be in the bullpen. Is Orion Kirkering the 2025 or 2026 closer of the Phillies? He's got the pitches. He's got the mental makeup. I just don't know if he's mature or experienced enough to be a closer yet. You don't become an elite closer normally too early in your career. It takes a little time to develop that elite, closer mentality, but he's got the stuff. So huge win. Got the division lead back up to 6. Yes, I was wrong. Luke Arcani. Yes, Mark Henry. I was going to go into a big tangent on Mark Henry. Yesterday it was Luke Arcani. Today was going to be Mark Henry. About living in the moment with and you know what? Actually, I'm going to go into that. Because with the Johnny Gaudreau news, I'll get to your comment in a second, K1. We as fans get criticized sometimes for living in the moment. The Phillies suck today. They're over. Their season's over. And then people come out and say, well, relax. It's a long season, or this or that. Don't live. No, life's short. Life's precious. Live in the moment because you never know when the next moment won't be there. If I could say anything, that's what I could say and take away today from this news. It's most important on days like today to realize that living in the moment is the best way to live. It really, truly is. So Mark Henry, trying to call me out for being an emotional Phillies fan and that it hurts my credibility. Mark Henry doesn't know I have no credibility. That's not what I am. I'm not a person that cares about credibility. I'm just a person with a platform that lets people be emotional and have fun and live in the moment. And that's what I want to be remembered as. Somebody that did not hide his true feelings. So, to Mark Henry, maybe you should try living a little bit more and not try to be so serious all the time. Hot take, I think the Colts will surprise some folks this year. We'll get back to that in a second. I want to see Mike was here. Yes, Mike, we're trying today. We're trying to power through here. Trying, but it's heartbreaking, man. It really truly is. And again, I haven't been the biggest hockey fan the last couple of years. But I'm I'm a person, and I know how much this has got to hurt a lot of fans of the sport, but also the family. The family is completely together this weekend for the wedding of his sister. Yeah. No, not Mark. Mark Henry is just one of the many people on Fox the Gambler, 102.5, Sean Brace's crew. A couple days ago, after the Taijuan Walker collapse, the entire Fox the Gambler crew ganged up on me, took turns taking shots at me because I was living in the moment. And Mark Henry's a good guy. I mean, I not Mark Henry from WWE, not from the house, the Hall of Pain. Mark Henry Jr. He's a gambling and college football expert for them, I believe. Him, Arcani, even Sean Brace himself, they were all jumping down me just because I was living in the moment. But whatever. But then Mark Henry chose last night after the Phillies game. He was hoping the Phillies won. He probably had tweets pre-lined up to call me out. So, whatever. Mark Henry don't always know. He thinks he's no, we're not talking about the world's strongest man. That's not who we're talking about. I think the Colts will surprise some folks this year. Yeah, I think the AFC North, or not AFC North, sorry, AFC South is a very interesting division. I think theoretically, all four of those teams could win the division. I mean, the Texans are clear front runners, the best team. People are sleeping on the Jaguars. People are sleeping on the Colts. And the Titans, I mean, they don't have the greatest quarterback situation, but the Titans have put together a pretty solid roster. That entire division is going to be really solid. And Shane Steichen's second season, I think the only thing that holds the Colts back is Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson being in his second year, but he only played, what, 3 games last year before he got injured? I think Anthony Richardson, there's going to be a learning curve and a growing curve, the growing pains this year, along with that growing pains and a learning curve for him this year. And I think that's the only thing that slows them from being super dominant this year. I think maybe next year or the year after that, that's when you can see the Colts maybe reemerge as that division favorite. But all these teams in the NFC South or AFC South are pretty spot on good. 4 games, 3 games, whatever it was. I know it's not a lot that he played last year. He could be special, but I don't know if in those 4 games he played last year, he played well enough to be able to say he's elite and great yet, or has the potential yet. Like, I think he has some weaknesses still. Now, I have confidence that Shane Steichen will do what he can to help him grow quickly, but I'm being cautious with my opinions on the Colts this year, for that reason, until I see more. Like, I don't understand why people are so hyped about Richardson after 4 games. Jalen Hurts has been here for 3 years plus, and people aren't fully hyped on him. But people around the league are all hyped about Anthony Richardson after 4 games, and that's my thing. That D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry, that was a hell of a tag team early on, in the Attitude Era. Comes down to quarterback. Wallace ain't it, is Trevor. Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence might be a little overrated, as a quarterback. I think the Jags might be overrated, but they're also a little underrated. They're a really good team. Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning head coach. They're good, not great, but they're not bad either. The Jaguars are kind of in the teetering category where if they fall this year, then there might be some drastic changes down there in Jacksonville. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to think about the Jacksonville Jaguars at this point. Anthony Richardson is still raw, but they still have Jonathan Taylor. That is true, and I think some of Jonathan Taylor's issues last year were because he held out last year so long and didn't get prepped last year as much as he should. So yeah, they do have Jonathan Taylor to lean on. They still have Michael Pittman, a great wide receiver. They got a strong defense, and Shane Steichen's a very good head coach, offensive-minded head coach who's going to do what he can to have those pieces in the right places. I mean, a lot of our success on offense in 2022 was because of Shane Steichen. You know, you lose him, and you see what happened last year to the offense of the Eagles. So, yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think it's interesting that that's the division you went to first out of all 8 divisions that I put predictions up. Was a nice wide receiver pickup in the second round. Yeah, I don't know a heck of a lot about them, but yeah, they're good. I got the Eagles at 11-6. We'll go over game by game on Monday, Davey. We're trying to power through today, but I put it up right here on the screen. You can see every team in the NFL where I've got them predicted. I will also flash over. This is how I see each conference playing out seeding wise as well. And we'll revisit this in like a couple months, and we'll see how bad my predictions really were. But that is how I've got this playing out this year for the entire NFL. And I just so you guys know, I don't just randomly throw these numbers together. If you go through this and you add up all the wins and all the losses, there's exactly, where's my numbers here so I have it right, 272 wins and 272 losses. Because that's how many wins and losses there are every single season, unless there's a tie. But there's the exact number of games here. So I made sure that nobody could call me out and say, well, That's an odd number of wins and losses. That can't be right. I made sure that it's the exact number, guys. I did. All year, I said, Phil, Bo Nix fine to start. Actually, bro, it's Stidham. What? I thought Bo Nix was announced as the starter for the Broncos. 20-0 Super Bowl champions. Hey, I'm predicting an Eagles win Super Bowl victory. Sure. Call me a homer. Call me whatever. Eagles win the Super Bowl. Why not? Why not? I did not run it through ChatGPT. I will be honest. That's the first time I smiled today on this show. Thank you, K1. Um, I have never used an AI tool ever for anything. That would have been a question for me. I'm scared of AI. I am. I really am. So I do not use AI for anything, never have used AI for anything. Not sure if I ever will use AI for anything. You get the real from this little knot. This is the AI that I have right here. Has there ever been a year without at least one 13-win team? I don't know. And I know that's something I kinda shocked myself when I did this. I just don't think there's a team that can win 13 games this year. I think there's a lot more parity in the NFL this year, a lot of teams more bunched together. I almost didn't wanna have a 12-win team. I almost put the Chiefs at 11 wins. 'Cause the Chiefs are damn good, two-time defending undisputed champions of the world. But, with their wide receiver situation, I'm concerned about them. I I am. And I'm not doing very good with the eye contact today. I don't want to. But yeah, no, I am afraid of AI. I've watched one too many movies, cheesy B level, movies. I don't no. Not into the AI thing. Not at all. You said it all off season. Actually, it's Stidham. What? Stidham? What did I say? I don't know. I don't know what you think I said, but I don't think I've mentioned Bo Nix or Stidham's name except for in my quarterback list, and that was it. So I don't know. Embrace the future. No. I live in the past, K1. 1000%. Always live in the past. 13 wins. Hello, your freaking Bills. I'm surprised I've left this up on the screen for a while, and he has not commented once on where I got the Bills at 10-7, second place in the AFC East, and making the playoffs over the Dolphins. What did I put the Bills at? The 7th seed? The 7th seed. So I have the Bills making the playoffs. I do. I'm surprised. Oops, I took that off the screen. There we go. Back on there. I'm surprised Matt Chatter has not commented once that I predicted his Buffalo Bills or Matt Chatter at 10 wins. Terminator Zero dropped yesterday. I was never a big Terminator fan. The original was good. Terminator 2 obviously was a great movie. But outside of that, I never really got into the Terminator universe and the stories and all the different stuff. Like, I don't know. Not because I'm not an AI guy. I don't know. It just never really spoke to me, those movies, to get out there and watch all of them. Probably I've seen the first two. I saw bits and pieces of one other one. But that's it. That's it. Second, that's bull. No. No. Wait, the Dolphins win 10 games and miss the playoffs? Yes. There's a lot of teams with 10 wins on my predictions. Yes. I was either gonna put the Bills or the Dolphins in that 7 seed with 10 wins. Yes. 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 5 minutes timeout for Phil. Why? Why? What did I do wrong? 12 likes, not good enough. What's up, Mitchie Poo? Great show last night. I didn't really get to comment much. I was very busy at the shop, but I had it on in the background while I was cleaning up after a busy day. Great work as always, Mitchie Poo. Guys, you guys got to watch Mitchie Poo's show if you can. What episode of Breaking Bad are you on? Is it episode 2 or 3 of season 3? They're going through the divorce. The episode we only had time for one episode last night. It was the episode when he throws the pizza on the roof of the house. That was the episode I'm on, Davey. So we're just getting into the part where the chicken guy is starting to show his face a little bit. The divorce thing kind of is annoying to me. I think that's just kind of being thrown in there I feel like it doesn't fit the story much, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The wife is thoroughly enjoying it. Every time we see somebody dressed on the side of the road or outside of a mushroom house and a get up. We're like, "Oh, are they cooking meth in that mushroom house?" Every time I see a trailer drive by, I'm like, "I wonder what's inside that trailer." So yeah, it's we're enjoying it thoroughly right now. I pre-ordered my Elon Musk brain chip. Can't wait to become a superhuman. Man, um, doesn't do his own ad reads and needs work on his segues. Help the brother. So yeah, well, no one does a segue like me. Um, and here I'll segue for you. This is how you do a segue. When you want to talk about David Archerry, you've got to find something. And I'm gonna hire David Archerry because of the slurring of my name that the Fox the Gambler crew is doing. They're dragging my name through the mud and questioning Mark Henry Jr. questioning my credibility. Well, I'm gonna go out there and hire David Archerry, the Cherry Law Firm. Whether you need a workers' compensation lawyer, a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law, you call the best in the state of Pennsylvania. You call David Archerry at 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Make sure you mention EOP. Make sure you mention trending in the AM when you do it. It will fight for you and get you what you deserve. Again, his number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. The divorce is very important for the story plot. Just wait. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's why I'm not over it. Okay. I'm not moving on from it. I'm just saying the initial part of it just kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. Obviously, their marriage had issues, but I just kind of feel like it was kind of just dropped there. Like it was just dropped there, and I didn't need that added to the story right there. Yeah, I so far in the show, like I said, I think it's with the pizza on the roof. I think it's episode 3 or episode 4 of season 3. That's where we're at. We just started it less than 2 weeks ago. And we've had a very busy couple weeks at the pizza shop, but it's kind of helping us get through the nights after work. Um, the only character I don't like is Skylar. Like I literally can't stand her. Um, we are here for you. Hey, I appreciate you, Mitchy Poo. You are my man. Is it fair to throw comparisons between Steichen and Moore? I don't know. I think they're different styles of coordinators, Kellen Moore and Shane Steichen. Um, but Kellen Moore will be a head coach soon. So I think once Kellen Moore becomes a head coach, it'll be easier to figure out. Um, but and we'll also see how Kellen Moore. I think it's there's not really much of a comparison yet there, but I think it will. The Kellen Moore hire will show how much of a problem Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni's offense was last year. Take notes, but yeah, exactly. Phil, did you talk about the defensive tackle we picked up? I mentioned it a little bit. Byron Young picked 70th in last year's draft. 6'3", 297, played for Alabama. My biggest thing with Byron Young is the fact that he was a 70th pick in the 2023 draft, and the Raiders have already cut him. Why? Could someone answer that? Why would you cut somebody so quickly? But Howie Roseman loves these kind of players, these redemption stories, loves to give players a second chance, sees a guy with that kind of a top 70 pedigree available and pounced right away. Unfortunately, cutting Marlon Tupelodu in the process, but we know what Tupelodu's ceiling is. I don't think anybody knows what Byron Young's ceiling is yet. He might fall on his face and be cut next year by the Eagles, but you know, yeah. So I think it's a low risk, high reward move. I also did address James Bradberry going to IR, Oren Burks being added to the 53-man roster. Brett Toth went to the practice squad. I did see something else. Everybody wanted Josh Joby on our practice squad. Seattle Seahawks signed Josh Joby to their active roster. So that was all the Eagles news I had written down for today. I've covered it once, covered again, covered them 100 times more. Skylar was universe. I can't stand her. Like I literally, she could just go away and not be on my screen. Skylar, aka Donna Changstein, Donna Chang, whatever her name was. There are so many former guest Seinfeld characters on Breaking Bad. Obviously, Tim Watley, the dentist. Jerry was an anti-dentite. We know that. Obviously, Saul Goodman was, I don't remember his name in this show, but he was I believe it was a doctor, or somebody that was studying to be a doctor but couldn't pass the test, and Elaine was his boyfriend and was withholding sex, so he would study more. Um, and then of course, Skylar was Donna Chang, Steen. Um, Kyler or Kyle Murray, Kyler Murray, Kyle Lowry. What is going? My brain is fried today, guys. Um, that's a tough one. I might have to say Kyle Lowry on that one, Mitchy Poo. I'm really not a Skyler fan, not at all. Why did the Jets cut Becton? He was a first round pick. That was 3 years in a row. You know what I mean? So, or 3 years ago that he was a first round pick. Byron Young had one season, a rookie season. He barely was on the field. There's a little bit of a difference there. And I think Becton had injury issues. He wasn't a very good tackle, but he's transitioned to guard. Look, I get it. Some people just don't work out in their first home, and another team has to save them. So, yeah, I think it was the injury thing. Maybe it was salary as well. But yeah, I think that the injuries, and look, the Jets. I mean, you look at my rankings. I got the Jets winning the AFC East. The first comment I got when I tweeted this picture yesterday was someone saying, "Wow, I have the Jets winning their division." I think if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, it's a deep team. So we'll see how that goes. Me and my mom are having a crazy mobile Scrabble feud. Stone versus Bret Hart level. Is that it? Who's passing out? Yeah, Nooms. Again, I'm trying today, my man. I'm trying. I've done multiple little monologues on this. It's super sad. Literally, I saw the news literally 20 minutes before I clicked and go live. Um, I just want to say in the second comment, there is no confirmation that it was a drunk driver. Yahoo News and I forget what other news site I read on. The reports that I am reading from official sites, not Twitter or whatever, the driver of the vehicle that hit him and unfortunately killed him and his brother Matthew, was released from the scene and was not arrested, which would tell me that he was not a drunk driver. Because if he was a drunk driver and he killed somebody, they would have arrested him on the spot. So the fact that the reports are coming out that the driver of the vehicle was not arrested, I just want to put that out there, Nooms. I'm not doubting what you know or what you read, but from what I've read, this is a false narrative that's being spread around. But just the story of Johnny Grudeau, Johnny Hockey. It's kind of why the tone and the mood of this show is a little bit more somber today than it normally is. I'll try to get through it this weekend and Monday, be jam-packed with more energy as Monday starts. Monday, we are back into regular season football mode on Trending in the AM. Mondays will typically be recap shows. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll talk football and whatever else. And Friday, prediction shows. Remember, we predict every single game against the spread every single Friday on this show. Maybe I'll do some gambling segments as well. But we are in regular season mode starting on Monday. But yeah, Johnny Hockey, man. It's just sad. And then when you read, I don't know if you caught this part, Nooms, or not, that he was in town because it's his sister's wedding today. And he and his brother were groomsmen in his sister's wedding today. And his wife was the maid of honor in his sister's wedding for today. So when you hear that on top of it, top of the loss of a father, a son, a husband, a friend, a brother, on top of it was his sister's wedding this weekend. So it's sad. I'm passing out. She has me in the sharpshooter, but I refuse to tap. Okay, so she's got you in the you don't have her in the sharpshooter. She's got you in the sharpshooter. Okay, gotcha. Just I think that the Bret Hart Stone Cold sharpshooter passing out thing is the most underrated part of the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like it's big and people talk about it and the diehards know it, but I don't think people really realize that graphic of him, that snapshot of him with the blood dripping down his forehead, him in utter pain in the sharpshooter. What that meant for the legacy of Stone Cold and how that developed the legacy of Stone Cold. I think it's probably one of the most underrated moments in the Attitude Era or maybe wrestling history, period. To me, when I think of the greatest pictures of all time in wrestling, that might be one of the greatest, if not the greatest picture ever taken. Yeah, rooting for him not to tap out. Yeah, yeah. No, never tap out. You know who hasn't tapped out? See, I even on a bad day like today, I got segues. You know who didn't tap out? Dolan's Bar, PJ and the crew. Because for 65 plus years, they've been the quintessential Irish American dive bar in Delaware County, in Ridley Park, 624 East Sellers Avenue. DolansBar.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Check them out. Go in there. Tell PJ and the crew you heard about them right here on Edge of Philly Sports, trending in the AM. Great food, great times, memorabilia giveaways. Celebrities hang out there all the time. Radio shows do their shows from there. Trending in the AM might do a show there someday. Guys, check them out. Dolan's Bar, Ridley Park, the best. DolansBar.com. Check them out, guys. See what I could do. The blood drip. Yeah, man. It was a special moment in wrestling history. That was kind of underrated in my opinion. I mean, it might be one of my top 5 moments, and like right up there with Hogan being the third man, and Austin and the blood. I mean, it's right up there. There's some of the most iconic moments. Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, and Austin passing out in the blood. I mean, right up there. Well, and I don't think people really put it up there like people should, as often. Sorry, I had a text message there. I wanted to check it there real quick. Yeah, I could do a segue in my sleep. I think I dream of doing segues. I think that's probably what I dream at night of. I sit back in all at segue skills, and to think nobody's putting me on the radio. Nobody's putting me in the big time chairs. Yeah, I should be getting those big time chairs, not just slaving away for the 25 or 30 of you that tune in every single morning here live for the whole show. I mean, we get hundreds, if not thousands, every day watch the show, but they don't watch the whole thing, and they don't all watch it live. But I sit here and I slave away, planning. All I'm doing is as I'm talking, I got another voice in my head just saying, "Oh, that was a good segue opportunity. Oh, you missed that segue opportunity." That's all I do is think about segues on a regular basis. Huge for Stone Cold, an epic moment. What's an iconic moment for The Rock? His face off with Hollywood. But that was already how far into his career. It was already a big time. I still remember that Hogan Rock face off. I remember the first time Hogan and the NWO came out on, I believe it was a SmackDown. It was a SmackDown in Philly. The first time they came to Philly as the returning NWO, whatever that was, 2002, 2003. SmackDowns weren't live. They were pre-recorded, and they were supposed to be heels, obviously, the NWO. But when their music played, and I was at the Wells Fargo Center, Wachovia Center, or whatever, and when the music played for the NWO, the arena went nuts. So nuts that they had to stop the filming. They had to have them come out and trash talk us, then go back and refilm the intro to try to get boos. And we still cheered them. So they just had to dub over on the editing when they edit it, when it wasn't live, and put fake boos into the crowd. Because there was no way we were ever going to boo the NWO at that point. HBK was the zip line. Yeah, so what was a bigger image? What's a bigger image in HBK's career? The zip line at WrestleMania, whatever that was, or him throwing Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window? What was the more iconic moment in HBK's career? Just curious. Figure 4 leg lock. I'm still frightened of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. The Nature Boy, they talking wrestling, released information that the Netflix is doing a Vince McMahon documentary. Comes out in like 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks. But when the Nature Boy Ric Flair's documentary came out, it was filmed like right after or right before he had his almost death, heart attack or whatever, where he almost died. And just, the Ric Flair story was it's just an amazing story. Glass window made HBK. Yeah, I think so. I do. It was definitely a special moment in wrestling history. You got to see my favorite wrestler, the late Scott. Yeah, he was. So here's the thing. So there's 2 different Mount Rushmores of wrestling. There's the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, and then there's Phil's personal favorite Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Scott Hall, the bad guy, is in my Mount Rushmore of personal favorites. I know he's not one of the 4 greatest of all time, but me personally, he's right up there. Modern quantum theory suggests that reality lies not in the actual moment, but in the segues in between. I love that. Even on a bad day like today, K1 can get me to smile with the most dumb thing in the world, but also the most hilarious thing in the world. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Um, so yeah, there's that. Guys, you're watching Training the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Please hit that like, share, subscribe, follow, retweet button. I promise Monday's show will have more energy. I promise I will smile more. I will make more eye contact on Monday. But 7-day a week programming right here on Edge of Philly Sports later today. Phillies post game show. Plus, of course, Steel Steps live after SmackDown ends at 10 p.m. right here on the channel. Jam packed 7 days a week. There's always something going on. So make sure you're checking it out on a regular basis, guys. And the only way to do that is hitting that subscribe button, follow button. Also, make sure you like every video and share every video. It's free. Doesn't cost you a penny to hit that subscribe and hit that like and hit that share button. It's a great way to help great content creators and great Philly sports channels like this continue to grow. HBK had a lot of cool moments. I forgot about the glass moment. How do you forget about the glass moment? That made him, literally made him. But a lot of his iconic moments, I just don't think rank. Like HBK is borderline. He's probably not Mount Rushmore of all time, but borderline. One of the greatest of all time for sure. But I still say the thing that always rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm not a Hulk Hogan fan. I know he's a D-bag and an asshole, but I understand Hulk Hogan is wrestling, royalty. And the Hulk Hogan HBK thing, the whole oversell thing, because HBK was pissed that Hogan wouldn't lose to him, I think is what the story was. That oversell moment from HBK, because wrestlers are supposed to, whether they have real life beefs behind the scenes or not, you're supposed to go out there and still put on a match, protect each other, physically and mentally, and do their thing. And that moment where HBK oversold every little thing and looked like a goofball in that Hogan match kind of ruined him to me. Like, it kind of knocked him down a little bit in my book, because of the professionalism that was lacked there in that moment from HBK. A Scott Hall moment was his surfer walk under the ladder and holding the two. Yeah, I just love the surfer walk. And then his little thing. Like, I know he did the toothpick thing, but his little thing like that, I just, Scott Hall, the razor's edge, it's just probably the greatest move. Probably my favorite finishing maneuver of all time. I can't sit here and lie and say I didn't put a friend or two or a brother or two into the razor's edge and drop them. The best fall away slam in the business, Scott Hall. HBK's wrestling MJ. I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I don't think in the ring there was anybody ever better, but he was such a D-bag too, honestly. And that Hulk Hogan moment kind of knocked him down for me. I understand that Hogan was being the asshole by not wanting to lose. They were supposed to, I think the story goes that they were supposed to have a trio of matches. Hogan win one, HBK win the second. I forget who was supposed to win the third. But then Hogan said, nah, don't want to do that. I don't know. I just never got over. I just thought that was an embarrassing moment. I think there was a lot of embarrassing moments because of his drug and alcohol issues for HBK in his career. There's no denying he was one of the greats of all time, but that's that. All right, guys. So we got about 10 minutes left in the show here. Let's wrap this shebang up with some things here. Obviously, big game for the Phillies tonight. Power Ranger Suarez goes to see if we can get a second straight game against the Braves tonight. We'll see if they can carry over that momentum. It should be a playoff atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park all weekend against the Braves. We'll see how it goes. Taijuan Walker is no longer in the starting rotation for the Phillies, which is a good thing. Eagles had some news. James Bradberry, IR. Oren Burks on the roster. Brett Toth on the practice squad. Byron Young signed. They cut Marlon Tupelodu. Brandon Ayuk signed his deal. Brazil is literally 7 days away. We're 7 days away from being 1-0 as in the NFL. I also think the Broncos win way more than 3 games. I think the Broncos might win more than 3 games, but they might not. So when I did my records, I added it up, and I had too many wins, and I had too few losses. Or I had to switch wins and losses around to make sure I had the equal amount of wins and losses across the board, and I dropped the Broncos from 4 to 3 to make that work. But yeah, The Broncos are gonna be bad, in my opinion. Really bad. In his early days, Piper wouldn't sell for Hogan. That's interesting. I think Roddy Piper, reality check, a little underrated. Phil, we are officially bound by blood off of that statement. The Razor's Edge was the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I wish, dude. I could use it today. I gotta get to work today. I got a lot of big ass shit going on at the pizza shop today too. Um, but with that said, so we're wrapping up. We got my record prediction for the entire NFL up here on the screen. Um, you got 10 more minutes to critique it, 10 more minutes to dive through it and look at it. It's funny, like everybody jumped at the Jets thing online. Everybody on this show has jumped on the AFC South. I'm surprised no one has jumped on, say, me having the Cardinals win only 8 games, the Bears only 7. People love the Bears. People love the NFC North this year. I'm not as hyped about the Packers. I'm definitely not hyped about the Bears this year. I think I'm already wrong on the Browns winning 9 games this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, nobody's jumped on me for predicting only 9 wins for the Hall of Famer Justin Herbert Chargers and Jim Harbaugh Chargers. I'm kind of surprised at what people have decided to talk about on this list and not other things, because there's a lot of things um, that go against what most people are predicting in general, and I'm kind of surprised, kind of shocked at that. The Broncos beat KC last season. They ain't that bad. You can't teach that. I read that in the you can't teach that way. They ain't that bad. The large color proved that quantum entanglement is real. Then all of a sudden, Jada Pinkett Smith has an entanglement with. I don't even like. I can't even read half these words. Like that, these words are too big for me. I don't even know what any of that means. Right there. But guys, that's what we've talked about today. We've talked about record predictions a little bit of football, a little bit of life, a little bit of Johnny Gordeau. Again, one final time. Asking him, everybody to think about that. Just think about the preciousness of life. Think about the preciousness of, your family and your friends, and check in on people and hug somebody today, call somebody today, just smile to somebody. Just open the door for somebody today and say, "Have a nice day." You know, just things like that. Do those kind of things today, please. I ask you all to do that. You do me one favor today. Say hello or smile or say thank you to somebody today. That's all I can say. That's what I would do. That's what I would ask you all to do. Um, so yeah, there's all that. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how we wrap this show up today for the most part. Few more comments coming through. Thank you, Mitchy. I appreciate you. You're welcome. Our silent assassin is on the mound tonight. Yeah, I mean, go figure. Since he's been back in the rotation, we're back to being a good baseball team. The Power Ranger, Red Ranger. It's morphin' time. It's literally like Ranger Suarez came off the injured list and said it's morphin' time, and they morphed right into a good baseball team again. We'll see if they can keep it up and get another win tonight. If they get a win tonight, then I got to say that I will officially say that they're back for sure, 100%. But they got to get the win tonight. They don't get the win tonight, then we'll see. When we come on this show on Monday's show might have to go more than 90 minutes, honestly. Monday's Labor Day. Still got to work on Labor Day, but we might have to go a little longer than 90 minutes on Monday because we got to do record predictions for the Eagles every game by game. But we'll also have to recap the Phillies weekend as well. I don't know if 90 minutes is going to be enough on Monday. We'll see how Monday flows. We'll see how many people show up on Monday to the show. I still have the Phillies getting knocked out in the first round. So do I. I still think come playoff time they get knocked out. It might be the second round if they get the number 1 seed and get the bye. But I do not think the Phillies win a playoff series this year. But I hope I'm wrong, Mitch. I hope I am wrong. That's all I could say. Hope. It's not winning a title, though. So realistic me says they do not win a playoff series. But we'll see how that goes. That's, 5 weeks away? We'll see. We'll see if what kind of mood we are in once we get to that Red October in about 4 or 5 weeks, and where we're at. I do too. I do too. We always do, right? So with that being said, we're going to start the wrap-up process right here a few minutes early. I've got a massive pizza order that's got to get started. Um, So what we'll do, guys, I'm going to take the share screen off, my record predictions off the screen, back to me. You don't have to work on Monday. You're the boss. Unfortunately, I do. I have a really big catering order on Tuesday. Amazon, my monthly Amazon order. So special surprise or guest host on Tuesday's show. You're not going to want to miss Tuesday's show, but I'll have a sub on Tuesday for the show. So I have to go in Monday anyway, because I've got to prep for almost 200 pizzas to go out Tuesday morning. So I got to go in anyway. I might not work the typical 10:30 to 8 o'clock I do on a Monday, but I'll go in at 11:30. We'll probably work till 7:30. We'll see how the business is on Labor Day is actually kind of a busy day typically because everyone's back in school. Summers are over and stuff like that. So anyway, so I do have to work, just so you know. I believe in David Archer, yeah. Always do. Why give him a free plug like that? He pays for one ad read. You don't got to give him any more. I believe in Jalen Hurts as well. I think my Jalen Hurts MVP vote is the best, but we'll be back Monday in a much better spirits, hopefully. But hope everyone is well this weekend. I hope everyone has a great weekend. This is Trending in the AM on Edge of Philly Sports. I am Phil Stiefel. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow. As always, go Birds. Ring the bell this weekend, Phillies fans. And bubbles up to y'all, guys.